welcome to episode 129 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha, and you can find me anywhere online as Nadira Tani. I am coming to you today from my home in Central Florida, and it's nighttime, so I'm doing the most with lighting right now. I just want you to know I have the room lights on, plus one of my photography soft boxes, which, if I'm honest, I should probably be using for filming anyway. But yeah. So I feel like super professional right now with my lighting setup and whatnot. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming to spend some time with me today. If you're new, welcome. I hope you find something here that you can connect with and enjoy. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Yellow. And yeah, that's everything. Thanks for being here today. I realized that because of the way I have hung this wall hanging, I showed this in Stash Positions. This was given to me by a viewer last week. I'm going to have a rainbow crown or a rainbow halo for this entire podcast, which I'm okay with, right? It's kind of cute. So yeah, I have a bunch of bright spots for you guys. So typically I screenshot the bright spots so that I don't have to like scroll through the comments when it comes time to share them. But there were so many bright spots in last episode that I'm just going to like bullet point. We've got bright spots about this, and this. And so if you left a bright spot, listen for your bright spot. And if you're new, bright spots are basically positive experiences, good things, inspirational notes that viewers can leave in the comments, and I will share a few of them in the following episode, or at least that's my goal, to share a few of them in the following episode. Sometimes I forget, but you know, I'm trying to do my best. So let's go with this long list of bright spots. So we are choking. We've got a bright spot of a new job that is going really well. Congrats. We've got a bright spot about enjoying some quiet knitting time on the deck during a beautiful breezy afternoon. Nice. Oh, perfect for a hoodie and shorts. My husband laughs at me when I do stuff like that because we live in Florida, and sometimes I'll have like a fan on and a space heater just because I want that like in the middle temperature. So I completely understand the hoodie and shorts life. We've got a bright spot. 6th granddaughter was born last Monday and is healthy. So this would have been 2 Mondays ago. Yes, I think, if I can math. Yes, 2 Mondays ago. So congrats on a new granddaughter. We've got a bright spot. Says, I filled up a box of crochet for my friend and her family. She knows I'm making them some things, but she doesn't know the extent of it. My kind of gifter. Just send a box. Surprise! Let's see. Bright spot. Today I made applesauce from the harvest of our little apple tree. All the little garden wonders. Bright spot. I just now finished making a tiny batch of sugar cookies after years upon years of not baking. Turned out not bad at all. Bright spot. I've been trying and failing to lose weight, but finally broke through and lost some weight. I've been doing yoga every morning for the last 9 days and trying to make a routine that I can hopefully stick with. Bright spot. On lockdown for months and still in lockdown due to my health, my husband packed snacks. I grabbed a bottle of champagne and we drove up the Angeles Crest Highway into the Angeles National Forest. My husband drove until we had passed all the stargazers and their telescopes, about an hour drive. First time out of the house in 5 months that was not for a doctor's appointment. He pulled out the camp chairs, fed me snacks, and once it was dark, opened the champagne. We found the comet and we were able to see it with my birding binoculars. We passed them back and forth and giggled like little kids at the wonder of the universe. Bright spot, just crocheting. Bright spot, daytime naps and sunny afternoons. That was a perfect bright spot to end on. Daytime naps and sunny afternoons. I wish I could just randomly have daytime naps, but unfortunately people be sending me messages for work and I have to do stuff. But sunny afternoons, yes for all of that. Although it's currently like the rainy season in Florida, so it pretty much rains almost every afternoon around the same time. And if it doesn't rain like thunderstorming rain, it's a consistent drizzle. Like that kind of drizzle that even if you have your windshield wipers going on the car, you still can't see anything. It's like that. Hi Kiva, you coming in? Or are you just gonna step around by the door? Come here. No? Okay. So as you guys saw, we had a whole lot of bright spots. So thank you so much, friends, for sharing your bright spots with me and the group. If you would like to, you can definitely share a bright spot or positive moment in the comments down below. And I share them. That's the thing I do. But you can also, and another thing that I encourage is reading through the comments, reading through other people's bright spots and celebrating with them. You know, if you read a comment of someone saying that they're having a success on something or having a positive experience with someone or with a thing, definitely leave them a comment, encourage them, congratulate them on what they're doing, because it feels good. It feels good to have someone congratulate you. It feels good to have someone recognize the good thing that's happening to you. And it also feels good to acknowledge that good things are happening in the world. Especially in these pandemic streets, y'all. It's very good to be able to recognize that good things are still happening in the midst of all this. So yeah, that is everything for admin. We will jump right into the crafting. But first, I went to run errands today, and I promise the most quarantine thing happened to me today. So I had gone to run some errands. When I left the house, like my car does the countdown, like you have this many miles to go until you run out of gas. And I had like, I don't know, 50 miles, something like that. Like, cool, that's fine. Go run my errands. I'm on my way home and the gas light comes on. So I said, okay, Kalisha, let's just stop and get some gas. So I pull up to the gas station, get out the car, open the pump, or not the pump, open the little gas door. When I opened this gas door, there are spider webs inside by the little gas cap. That's how long it's been since I had to open that and put gas in the car, that a spider took up residence in that little space. Is that not the most quarantine life thing that you have heard? Like, come on, man. Anansi, why you gotta be out here making your home by my gas tank? Yeah. So when I opened the little door and I saw the spider webs, I was just like, are you kidding me? I mean, clearly I'm sharing this with the world because it's hilarious, but it's quarantine life, y'all. That's quarantine life. So let's talk about some yarny, fibery, crafty type things. I have one finished object. It is not the Speckles and Spice. We're going to come to that in a minute. But my finished object is this little guy. This is the little brother for the girl doll that I made a couple weeks ago. This pattern is African American ballerina doll by Yolanda Jordan. And I did modify this. Here is the sister. I made her little kente outfit because I made her to match one of my friend's daughter. And the picture that I chose, little girl was wearing a little kente outfit. So I kind of tried to dupe it for her doll, which was a whole experience in itself, trying to freestyle this little outfit. And so this is what her outfit looks like. But let me show you the doll body so that you can see the mods that I did for the little boy. And it's nothing like really involved. So this is the body shape for the African American ballerina doll. And she's meant to have like a tutu. So what I did for the boy is I just didn't give him the little like hips that she has. And instead of making all of his limbs flesh colored, I just gave him built-in pants and a shirt. The little boy's favorite color is red, so that's why he has a red shirt. And if you notice this little bow, it's because he has a cape. And he has a cape because I wanted both of the dolls to have something matching with their person. So the sister doll has her kente outfit, and the brother doll has a super cape. And this is the cape that I made for the little boy. It kind of just looks like a piece of fabric because basically it's just a hemmed piece of fabric. Originally, I wanted to come up with like a little superhero logo, but then I realized I was going too big. I was about to get sent home, y'all. But I still think I need to put something on here so it's not just a piece of red fabric. So, yeah. So that's his cape. And that's his little cape. It's so stinking cute. I can't handle it. But yeah, so these are all done. Yeah. So modifications. I didn't do the hip decreases that are in the pattern, and I didn't decrease the head all the way down to where Yolanda tells you to, because I realized, and it probably wouldn't have mattered with this one, but with the sister, because she had so much hair, her neck wasn't wide enough to really support her head, so I ended up having to like reinforce the stitching. So I tried to avoid that with the brother by just not decreasing the neck, the head down to the same like opening amount of stitches. So when I came to do the body, so your head is worked this way and your body is worked this way. So when I came to connect them, I also didn't decrease the neck on the body as far down, so that the neck is actually a bit wider on this one. I had to do some finagling when it came to the decreases for the shoulders because my stitch count wasn't the same because I didn't do the hip decreases, but it's fine. It worked out. The only other thing with this one that stands out to me, only because I made it, but nobody else is going to think about this at all, is the legs. The yarn that I used for his jeans, even though it's a worsted weight acrylic, it was physically a little bit thinner than this and this. So both of these yarns, the brown and the red, are Red Heart yarn, Red Heart Super Saver. Yeah, the brown and the red are Red Heart Super Saver. The blue is Lion Brand Pound of Love, and the black is some other baby yarn. Black acrylic yarn. But yeah, so this is just slightly thinner than this. So he looks like, I mean, his legs are supposed to be bigger than this, but like I said, nobody's going to notice that. The only reason that I know that is because I made them. So yeah, that's the mini me for the brother and the big sister. So now all I have to do is finish weaving in the ends on her skirts and make a final decision on whether or not a superhero logo is going to go on this cape. And then I will be able to package them up and figure out when I can take them over to their house. I kind of want to put them in a box and leave it on their porch. I probably will do that if I'm honest. Just, surprise, there's something for you at your front door. Let me know when you get home and get it. I should probably do that. Anyway, so yeah, that is my finished object. I really enjoyed making that pattern. I typically don't do a whole lot of amigurumi just because single crochet, like if I do too much single crochet, it really starts to make my wrists and elbows hurt. So I try not to go too hard with the single crochet, but every once in a while I do like to make the crochet toys. So Kiva, can you sit down? You're making too much noise with your feet. Just like, whatever. Okay, so that is all I have for finished objects. So let's talk about my works in progress. We're going to start out with the plain knitting projects. I knit, I think, legitimately 2 rows on my Twister Lolly sock. Like, I need to get a move on that sock. And I think really what's causing it to go so slowly for me is because everything else I'm working on is DK weight and up. So when I switch to the sock and it's fingering weight, I just feel like this is going to take me a million years. So then I switch back to one of my projects with a thicker yarn that gives you more instant gratification payoff. So I knit 2 rows on my Twister Lolly sock. That is a pattern by the Crimson Stitchery. And I am knitting it in white, what is it, Knit Picks Stroll base? I think so. The undyed Knit Picks Stroll sock base, because I wanted a pair of white lacy socks. Eventually they'll get done. My other plain knitting project is this. This is my Little Secret crop top by Jessie Made Designs. And as you can see, you may not be able to tell, but there has been considerable progress. So this is where the first 2 balls of yarn ended. Then I think I got halfway through before I had to buy more yarn. And then a lovely viewer of the podcast found this yarn for me on eBay, which then I bid on and won the bid. So I did not have to rip this out. Hallelujah. And now I am knitting on my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my 5th ball of yarn. So yeah. All right. So this yarn is Adrienne Vittadini Maria. This is what it looks like in the ball. It's navy blue, and it is a very stretchy yarn. So I'm holding it double because once it stretches out, it's super thin. I think holding it double is giving me kind of a worsted weight gauge or worsted weight thickness. So, yeah, I've decided I want the body, before the front and back split to be 14 inches, I think. And that's going to be long enough for it not to be a crop top on me. Fingers crossed, I hope, if I can measure myself correctly, I think. So basically what I have decided is I'm going to knit through one more ball on the body before the splits happen. And that should give me enough length for it to feel right when I wear it. Yeah, so this is like super stretchy. I don't know what it's gonna be like when I block it, because it's 48% merino wool, 48% acrylic, and 4% lycra. So I'm gonna try steam blocking it, because hopefully, since basically half of it is acrylic, if I steam block it, I'm hoping that it'll be able to maintain that shape, like once you kill the acrylic. So I'm gonna stretch it a little bit this way. I do not need to stretch it sideways, because look at all that. That's gonna be a bit of positive ease, which I'm here for, because Florida. And this is actually making quite a thick fabric. So yeah. So I've just been picking this up, knitting a couple rows on it here and there, like at nighttime or whenever. I watched some movie with Lamar the other day, and I was knitting on this. What movie did we watch? I don't even know. What movie was it? I can't remember. Guess it wasn't that great of a movie. It was just kind of, oh! That's why I couldn't remember it, because I had already seen it. We watched Spies in Disguise, the animated movie where the spy turns into a pigeon. I really enjoyed it both times. But yeah, so I was knitting on this while we watched Spies in Disguise. Yeah. So hopefully within the next few days I'll get through this ball of yarn, and then we'll be on to the next section of the pattern. The way that the pattern is written is supposed to be ribbed. It's supposed to be, I think, 3x3 rib, but I didn't feel like doing that, so I'm working mine in stockinette. So yeah. Oh, another thing about this yarn, it's bleeding. I don't know, but the first few balls did not bleed onto my hands at all. So it's definitely the second batch of yarn that I bought, the ones that I got from eBay, that are bleeding. And it turns my fingertips navy blue. And when I knit, my pinky rests along the edge here. So I'll get a stripe of navy blue on my pinky right here. So I know that I'm going to have to like soak it. So maybe I will, I don't know, run it through the washer. I'm really leaning hard on this acrylic content. I'm thinking about running it through the washer to get rid of all of that extra dye. Or maybe I'll just soak it. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. And then doing the steam blocking to see what happens. But, you know, we'll figure this out when we get there. We'll figure it out all together. You guys will be front row, center on whether or not this works out to Kalisha's plan. But yeah. So that is hanging out with me here. Oh, what's that? Oh, some beads. And so now let's go into the work in progress that y'all probably all want to see, the one that's not finished. So this is my Speckles and Spice. And I'm pretty sure that the gray portion at the bottom was longer than this last week. Pretty sure. So, y'all all know the tale of kind of woe that was this sweater. I had the yarn. I was super excited about it. I decided I wanted to make this pattern. This is Speckles and Spice by Tammy Gore. I started and then realized the error of my ways, that I was not going to have enough of gray yarn. This was my main body color. I was not going to have enough of that to finish the sweater. So my mod was to add all of this. All of this here is an added in modification to lengthen the amount of blue, well, the amount of every other color, so that I would use less gray, because I was going to run out. And I definitely did. I knit all the way to the end of my first gray ball of yarn. And in the midst of all of that knitting, I was reaching out, trying to find someone with a skein of this that I could buy from them. And I finally got in touch with someone who was willing to just send me theirs, which was amazing. So I got her skein in the mail, I think Friday. And I was like, bet, let me finish knitting my skein, then I'm going to add her skein in. It's going to be great. This is wonderful. But dye lots, friends, dye lots are real. So while they were the same color, they were not the same dye lot. And, I would also say, if you're going to look at two colors of yarn, do it in daylight. Don't trust your eyes at nighttime in your house with your regular lights on. Don't trust it, because it'll look the same and you'll be like, yeah, I'm good. And you will start knitting and you will feel good about yourself. And then you'll get out in the daylight and be like, son, this is different. Because that is what happened to me. So, I basically knit, matter of fact, I have a picture. So I knit this far in my gray, and then I knit probably an inch to maybe an inch and a half of the new gray. The new gray was darker, and part of me was like, you know what, Kalisha, it's fine, just let it go. We good. But then I realized, because the more I thought about it, the more I realized, like, Kalisha, you did not just do all of this modification to this sweater to have an obvious line of demarcation randomly around your waist because you obviously ran out of yarn. That is not the life we are living right now. That is not the plan. That is not the vibe. So I ripped back all of the new gray and maybe an inch of the old gray, put my needles back in, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna alternate, so it'll be the light gray alternating between the light and the darker gray, and then the dark gray. I got one row into that and I was like, you know what, no, because then you're still going to be able to see that this section is lighter than this section. So then I was like, screw it, and I ripped all the way back to this black and gray color work. So I don't think you can tell on video. You can't tell on video, but the lighter gray is the gray in between the black, and then it starts right into the darker gray. So I am just going to knit the whole bottom of the body in the darker gray and, finish the sweater in that one, because the darker gray and the lighter gray aren't going to touch anywhere. We'll be fine. So I am re-knitting the bottom. Now, there are positives to me having to re-knit the bottom of this sweater. So, I knit the color work on the needle size called for in the pattern, and then, continued knitting in the body. A lot of times people will say, like, knit your color work on a larger needle and then go down for for like any plain knitting because the gauge will be different. And I kind of thought about that, but because it wasn't in the pattern, I was like, cool, we're just going to go with it. But my gauge was different enough that the color work was like this, and then the non-color work bowed out like that. So again, I was like, it's fine, whatever, we're good. But then since I was ripping back anyway, I went ahead and went down a needle size. And I am liking that gauge a lot more. It looks visually, it looks more like my color work gauge. Because before, visually, the gauge was looser. You could tell that the stitches were a little bit looser. But yeah, man. So that's where we are with Speckles and Spice. But I still love it. I still, like, I'm really, really proud of this sweater, y'all. When I finish the body, I think I'm also lengthening this because, you know, I don't like cropped things. I don't like wearing something that if I reach up, my whole back is out. I don't like that. So I'm lengthening the body of this. And then once I finish the body, all I have to do is a little bit of sleeve action and it's done. Like, this is going to be this might be the fastest sweater I've ever knit. I mean, second to the one that I knit in super bulky yarn, but I don't think that really counts in this conversation. But yeah, man, super proud. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the pattern. If you're looking for a pattern to challenge your color work skills, I would recommend this one because while most of the motifs are 2-color, there are some 3-color motifs in here. And they were definitely a challenge, but if you're the kind of person to be like, challenge accepted, definitely try your hand at that. A lot of people were saying, you know, in the comments on last video when I talked about this, and then also when I talked about it on Instagram, a lot of people were saying like, oh, you know, I could never do three color work, you know, it's too scary, blah, blah, blah. Who is that? Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet is always saying, it's just yarn. If you mess up, you can rip back. It's fine. You know, so I really enjoy challenging myself and pushing myself because why not, right? So I also did a side-by-side of my sweater and Tammy Gore's sweater, the pattern photo, so that you can see side-by-side the modifications I made. So I will put that on that picture in here as well, so that you can see, you know, the difference. So part of me feels some kind of way, I will be honest, about ripping back the gray, because if it makes me feel like if I had originally started with the 2 gray skeins like I was supposed to, all of this modification, whatever, wouldn't have been a problem. But I'm kind of glad that I had to do all of that working through that problem solving to get to this point. It was a fun brain teaser. So yeah, but that is everything for works in progress. I do have a maker plan, and actually I have 2 definite maker plans and one that I'm considering. So when I was out running errands today, I decided to stop by one of my local like mom and pop shop thrift stores, and while I was in there, I found 2 of these for $1.99 each. So they were leaning up against the wall, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's like a camp chair. So like one of those ones that you open like this, and then it has like a canvas like sling kind of seat. And yeah, so that's what I'm gonna make these into. I have 2 of them. But as I was looking at them, I was like, you know what? This is probably a table, because you can see that the feet are longer at the bottom. Yep, that's probably a table, but whatever. It's going to be a chair, and then later on, if I want to turn it into a table, I can do that. But yeah, so that is a maker plan. I definitely have some canvas fabric in my stash. So, I don't know. This might be like a weekend, like this weekend kind of project. But I'm excited about it. And then they were $1.99, and I think orange was like 20% off or something like that. So yeah. Ta-da! I have been watching a ton of pottery videos, because I still have a bunch of air dry clay, and I've been watching videos on a technique to make pinch pots, which is basically where you take a lump of clay and you just mold it, you know, into a pot or into some sort of vessel, as opposed to using a pottery wheel or something like that. So since I do not have a pottery wheel or have access to a pottery wheel, I thought pinch pot sounds like a great plan. So I want to play around with that. I also want to potentially make a pot to put one of my plants in, because that would be ultimate awesome. But I'm just not sure if air dry clay can get wet after it's dried. I haven't Googled this yet, but Google is in the future. But that's definitely something I want to play around with. And my last maker plan, mentioning making pots and plants and stuff, I pretty much do all of my crafting, plant mama activities, work, my 9-to-5 work, or not 9 to 5, I work 8 to 4:30 work, but I do it all in the same space, like at the same table, in the same chair. Yeah. So a lot of times I will have to like clean up my plant stuff in order to do some sewing, or clean up my sewing stuff in order to go to work. So one of the things that I want to make is a repotting bag / mat. So Mars from Hey Brownberry has a bag, I think it's called like a foraging bag or something, where it's basically a flat piece of, I don't know if it's canvas or leather, and all around the edge it's got grommets, and then there's a like a drawstring that's woven through it, so that, you know, if she goes out foraging, she can just open it flat on the ground, put all of her stuff in, and then pull the drawstring and cinch it together. So I kind of want to go to create something in that spirit, but I want it to be like a mat that has edges. So maybe like a wide box bottom basically is what I'm going to create. So that when I do my repotting or any kind of plant maintenance that has me like digging around in the dirt, any overspray would be captured in that little container, in that tray, as opposed to it getting on the table and then I have to sweep it up and then it's on the floor and yada yada. So this is something that has been in my mind. I have used like craft paper and just folded it and made a tray, but I want something that's reusable. So a couple weeks ago when I was in Walmart for something, I walked past their clearance aisle and they had these plastic tablecloths, and so the top of it is that vinyl plastic, and then the bottom I think is like felt or something like that. So I looked at it and I thought that would be a perfect thing to make this tray mat situation out of. So hopefully this plan works out and I will have a clean surface to be able to do my plant shenanigans in, because I think that will just make my workspace work for me a bit better. So there's that. I'm kind of excited about it. Actually, I'm very excited about it because, you know, then I'd be able to really do more with my plants. I mean, not that I'm really trying to do a whole lot with plants, because you kind of like leave them alone and they are having a good time. Like that plant, I moved him into my bedroom. This is a golden pothos, and kind of forgot about him because he's not sitting with the rest of the plant friends, so I'll forget to water him. I need to work on that. My bad, homie. But he out here doing his thing. Like, he's got all these extra new sprouts. All right. Do you, boo? Have a great day. Anyway, so that's everything for maker plans. I do have some stash positions, which I'm really excited about. First, Mars, who I just mentioned, sent me, she had some beads that she wasn't using, some little seed beads that she wasn't using, so she sent those to me. And y'all, I feel like whenever I get on here and I'm recording, my ideas really start firing at a rapid pace, and there's no way that I'll be able to do all of the things that I want to do, because, you know, there's other stuff that I have to do. But one of the things that I have been feeling like I want to create again are waist beads. And when I was in college, I think it was after my first major breakup. I started making waist beads. I started making waist beads and jewelry, you know, earrings, necklaces, anklets, bracelets, you know, beading. Everything was beaded. Like, that was the thing that was really bringing me calm and peace, just the action of putting the beads on the string. Like, that was where I needed to be in that space. So I would create waist beads, and waist beads are an African type of jewelry, of adornment, and it's basically like a necklace or a strand of beads that's worn around the waist. And I would create sets of waist beads for myself based on how I was feeling, you know, in that moment, based on a concept, based on something that I wanted to call to myself. And I still have quite a few of them, unfortunately, which is funny for me because I don't, like, my weight doesn't fluctuate greatly. And I actually had a hard time gaining weight a lot of time, like for a long time. But I have gained weight a little bit, so I'm very, very excited about that. But the waist beads that I have from college no longer fit, and it really shows me how small I was. And I say that because one of the things that I remember specifically from this time in my life was that I wasn't eating. I wasn't not eating on purpose. Was that right? I wasn't not eating on purpose. Okay, yeah. I would just forget. I would just forget to eat, and I would go long time without eating. And I think at my lowest, I was close to 100 pounds in college. And I'm like 5'8", so yeah, I was tiny. And I didn't notice it because I wore big hoodies all the time. I was very much like, put a hoodie on, like I told you guys earlier, hoodie and shorts. But it would be hoodies and jeans. Just anything that was big that could just swallow me up. That's what I was all about. So I didn't notice that I was getting smaller. None of my friends really noticed that I was getting smaller. The only person who really pointed it out was one of my friends at the time. I had given him a hug, and he hugged me. I remember having a hoodie on, and he hugged me and just was kind of like, and I remember him commenting like, "Wow, Kalisha, you're getting really, really skinny." And then kind of being concerned about me. But yeah, so I said all that to say that the waist beads that I was creating for myself that fit me at that time, they don't even get close to closing right now, which shows me, one, that I actually gained weight. I've been trying to gain weight, and it has happened. Hallelujah. And two, the person I am physically and the person that I am mentally is so different than the person who made and wore those beads, So now I kind of want to make myself new sets of waist beads, and maybe kind of think about concepts and ideas and things that I want to call to myself in this time, and create something along those lines. And I feel like I was just going off on a tangent there. I hope you guys rode that bus with me, but now here we are. So, moral of that story, I got some seed beads from Mars. Thank you, Mars. And yeah, so other stash positions, I bought some a Progress Keeper set. It's from Brown Girl Knits. I forget what this is called, but she has this Progress Keeper. And if you watched a couple episodes back, I did get this image as a sticker. And like literally a week maybe after I bought that sticker, she came out with this Progress Keeper set. And I was like, dagnabbit, I could have bought those all together. Whatever. So I kind of want to buy another set so that I can have two of these girls. But I don't think I'm going to do that. But yeah, man, I am so excited about this Progress Keeper and stitch marker set. So it also came with these little square stitch markers and my little Progress Keeper girl. Oh, I could have just showed y'all like that. That's fine. But yeah, that came from Brown Girl Knits. Everybody that I talk about will be linked below. Yes. I think that is everything for stash positions. The only other thing that I bought crafty was I did buy some more of that yellow yarn that I showed y'all last week. So if I do decide, after I gauge swatch and everything, if that works for the minty tea that I was talking about last week, then I will go ahead and put those yarns together. I'm not gonna talk about those because that is not an active maker plan yet, but I did buy more yarn for that idea. Yeah, so that's everything crafty, I think. Looks around. What's in here? Yeah, so next we have Plant Mama Life. Well, I have combined Plant Mama Life and Life and Whatnot. So now it's Plant Mama Life and Whatnot, because I'm clever. So earlier this week, I was having a really hard time like sleeping. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't sleep. So what do you do when you can't sleep and you have a bunch of plants? You do planty things. So the planty things that I did was I separated 3 of the babies from my pilea. So last week I showed you, this is just too cute for its own self. I can't handle it. Last week I showed you my pilea peperomioides. Pilea. My friendship plant, my sharing plant. and it had 5 babies in a possible. So I went ahead and pulled 3 of the largest babies, and here they are, and put them in their own little terracotta pots. And yeah, man, they are just so cute. When I tell you, I have them sitting on my printer in front of me. So they're just sitting there looking all cheerful and tiny. And I don't know what it is about little things that just bring me joy, like in my spirit. But these little babies just make me want to go, ooh. But yeah. So that's the little babies. They are in their own little pots. I think I'm going to water them. Well, no. There's still enough moisture in there that the pot is cold. So I'm not going to water them yet. I think I potted them 2 days ago. It was either Tuesday night or Wednesday night. But yeah, I'm very excited to watch these little babies grow. So I did that, and yeah, I typically water my plants on Wednesday, and the only reason that I'm like on a schedule like that is because my string of pearls, I've realized if I water it on once a week, and I water it thoroughly, let the water drain through, maybe give it a little bit more to soak, to really like saturate the soil, it's good. Not too much water, not too little water, because I was watering every 2 weeks and I almost killed it. So I have purchased a new string of pearls, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we're good. We'll see. But my original string of pearls that went from gloriously full to 2 living strands is still hanging on. It is yet hanging on. It's got new little pearls on it and everything. So I feel like we're on the good foot. It's just tiny. It's just scraggly. Little scraggly baby. But so I typically water. I know that I'm going to water my string of pearls on Wednesday. So I check everybody else on Wednesday as well. But then randomly through the day or through the week, I'll, check and see, is anybody thirsty? Does anyone need a drink? I really enjoy that some of my plants are very vocal about their feelings when it comes to water. Like my Fittonia, my nerve plant, whose name is Nirvana. My Fittonia, I'm pointing over here because I brought her in here with me. But Nirvana, if you don't know, is a nerve plant. And this plant is dramatic. She does what she wants, which is why she looks like this. I don't know what she's doing, but she's doing her thing. Literally, her stems are growing like this. Why? Like, what is this? What are you doing? That's not even the way that that's not like, you're not growing towards the window. The window was not there. You're just growing out to the side because you do what you want. I will let you live your life, homie. But, yeah. So this plant, when it gets thirsty, like if you let it go too long without drinking, it faints. Like, falls out. I'm dead. My life is the worst. You are the worst plant parent ever. I hate everything. Slamming doors and writing angsty poems in its journal, kind of falling out. So I try to stay on top of watering her so that she does not get in her feelings about me. But what I'm really enjoying right now is that she is sprouting a whole bunch of new leaves. But I do have questions for anyone who happens to be a Fittonia expert out there. Her leaves are really crispy. Like, they're not, well, there's a couple that are browning. Like, this one is brown on the edge. That one is brown. But the regular green leaves, like this one is just green, but it's kind of like crispy. Yeah, why? So I read that maybe it's because she's not getting enough humidity. So I have looked into like maybe getting a tiny humidifier to put near her and see if that works, but to be honest, I don't really want to get a tiny humidifier for my Drama Queen plant. So what I've been doing is, since it is the rainy season and it's Florida, I've been opening the window that's over by the table where I work and just sitting her near the window so that the humid outside air can get to her leaves. I don't know. I don't think it's doing anything, but yeah, that's my nerve plant who is doing whatever she wants. But another plant that will tell you if it needs water is the Syndapsis pictus, which is also called like a satin pothos, but as I've read, they're not actually pothos plants. But this one, it has, you know, I almost said leaf-shaped leaves. Yeah, it's got leaf-shaped leaves, but they will curl when it's thirsty. So the other day, it was not a watering day, and I looked at her and I was like, oh, you're thirsty, huh? Give her a little water. The next day, her leaves flattened back out. So I was just like, you're welcome. But it's really fun to kind of learn the different personalities that my plants have. I am definitely giving human attributes to my plants, but I feel like when I do that, it helps me to really connect to them, so I'm less likely to just be like, just let it die, it's fine. Yeah. So, what else can I tell you for plant mama life? My dasheen, oh my goodness, my dasheen on the front porch. They're on the front porch now because that's where we put them when the hurricane was coming. And we just never moved them back to the back. And I think they're enjoying the front porch because they have sprouted, both of them sprouted a new leaf, and my bigger one is sprouting another new leaf and has a baby. I didn't know that dasheen did that, which is understandable because I didn't know a lot about dasheen to begin with. So there's that. But yeah, so there's like the whole dasheen plant, and then there's a little baby popping up. So I'm going to leave the baby in there until it gets a little bit bigger because it's very, very fresh right now. But when it gets a little bit more established, I'm going to try to dig it out because the way that the dasheen grows, the root or the tuber, like the one that I have, is about like this big, and the pot is about that big, right? But there's all of these little roots that are coming out of the tuber to where basically that entire pot is just a mass of roots. So I kind of feel like if I let the baby stay in the pot with dasheen mama, that it won't be able to thrive as much as it would be able to in its own pot. I could be completely wrong. I don't know stuff about stuff. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants and going with what feels right. But yeah, there's dasheen babies out there. And let's see. I posted a picture of me standing next to Griselda, the mango tree, on Instagram, and Griselda is a good 2 feet taller than me. Solid. She definitely needs a bigger pot because she just keeps falling over. But I think what's going to happen, instead of us getting her a bigger pot, Lamar has really been talking about pruning her, which hurts my heart, even though I know that pruning would be good for her. It would help her grow more evenly. She would probably not fall over as much. because right now all she does is lay down. Such a lazy mango tree. But yeah, so that's probably going to happen. Lamar is going to prune Griselda back, and she will be my height or shorter. Esmeralda is growing pretty well. We have two new mango plants who have grown to the naming size, and we have one called Adder, and Adder is the mango that grew behind the sugar cane because my brother-in-law threw a mango seed back there and it rooted and took root. So Lamar dug that one up so that it wasn't like growing underneath the fence, and back there wasn't space. So he dug that one up and put it in a pot. So he named that one Adder because that's my brother-in-law's initials. And then Lamar has his favorite little mango, and he named it Janae, which is my middle name. And yeah, we have a bunch of other like plants that are just having fun. It's a good time. I was gonna say something else. Oh, update on the fig. So my fig tree got 3 of its figs ripened, right? But they ripened right up until like maybe a couple days before we would have picked them, and they fell off. So we did some research, and we were kind of figuring that the fig wasn't getting enough water, which is why it was just dropping the figs whenever it felt like it. So we upped the water intake for the fig. We upped the watering of the fig, and hopefully now we can get a tree ripened fig. But I'm not going to say that I won the race to the first ripe fig, because the fig that ripened that Lamar and I ate wasn't 100% ripe. Like, it had unripened part, and he just kind of cut around it. So I'm going to say that I haven't won yet, but that medal is in it. I see it. It's mine. But on behalf of my father-in-law, who does not know he's part of this race, he sent us pictures. Quiet, Kiva. He sent us pictures of Kiva. He sent us pictures of the first, avocado that he got from their tree, which was really big. And he also sent us a picture of the first guava that they got from their tree. So that's really awesome. Yeah, man. Someone in the comments of the last video said that they would love to see a walking tour of my father-in-law's backyard because he's got all of the plants. And that is definitely something I can do. I don't know when the next time we're going to go over there is, but I will definitely ask him to give us a walking tour of his backyard, his back garden, because this is not a yard. It's definitely all garden with little walkways of grass in between. But I love it. So that's everything plant-wise. I did want to point you guys to a particular post that I have on Instagram. I posted a picture of myself in the Be a Chaotic Good shirt. It's a red shirt, it says Be a Chaotic Good. And I was talking about how I like surrounding myself with positive mantras, right? And empowering words, uplifting sayings, whatever like that. And I asked you guys to share your mantras. And when I tell you, there are so many comments on that post that it just made me smile, just reading through there. And it was also really cool to see how other people were reading through the comments, and they were like, I'm writing some of these down, you know, I'm taking notes. It just really made me feel like I can have, like, I can affect a change in a moment, right? So for the people who are sharing their positive or their uplifting quotes or whatever you want to call them, their mantras, it feels good to share those things. And then for people to read those, you know, they're being uplifted by those things. So I definitely say, if you haven't seen that post, definitely go and take a look at it. But it just made me happy. Like, whenever you guys participate in things like that, like sharing your bright spots, or giving an encouraging moment, or giving an encouraging word or an uplifting word or something like that, it just feels like, it makes me feel like this is why, this is part of the reason why I'm here, right? This is one of the things that I want to do. This is a way to be viral happiness. This is a way to help uplift the people around me. This is a way of brightening my corner, right? And I am just so, I feel so blessed that you all participate. That is my bright spot, that you all participate. So thank you so much for your participation. And thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. So yeah, if you would like, leave a comment down below of a bright spot, something positive that happened to you in the last week or whenever. Yeah, leave those comments down below and celebrate with each other over your positive experiences, your good things. Magnify those good things, y'all. So that's everything. Thank you so much for being a part of my universe, and have a wonderful day. Bye, friends.